这个故事如果你听起来不累，那么你的英语能力在美国日常生活是完全够用的。像学母语一样学英语，我们开始吧。
You may know Emmanuel Macron as the President of France, but he is much more than a politician. He is the most interesting man in Europe today for two big reasons. First, his love life is crazy. He married his teacher, a woman 24 years older than him. They broke all the rules to be together. Second, he is a bold leader who wants to change the whole world. He is not afraid to fight, and he is not afraid to lose. To understand the future of the world, you must understand this man. His story starts with a secret in a small town that changed everything. The year was 1993. The place was a quiet town in the north of France. Macron was a 15-year-old boy. He came from a very good family. His parents were rich doctors. They gave him a safe life. Because his life was so safe, he had a lot of time to read and think. He was not a normal boy. He played the piano with great skill and read books far beyond his years. Though just a boy, he thought like a grown man. At his Catholic high school, there was a teacher named Brigitte. She was 39 years old. She taught French and drama. She was married to a successful banker. She had 3 children. Her life looked perfect. One day, her daughter, who was in his class, came home. She told her, "Mom, there is a madman in my class. He knows everything." Imagine that! She did not know this madman would soon be her mother's lover. Macron joined the drama club. Every Friday, he went to Brigitte's house. They sat together to work on a play called The Art of Comedy. As they worked, something changed. Brigitte later said she did not feel like she was talking to a boy. She felt she was talking to a grown man. His mind was too bright. His words were too deep. His heart was too bold. Between 1993 and 1994, they crossed the line. The 15-year-old boy and the 39-year-old teacher fell in love. Soon, the small town started to talk. Rumors flew everywhere. Macron's parents heard the rumors. At first, they thought Macron loved her daughter because she was in his class. When they found out the truth, they felt a huge shock. It was like their whole world was ending. His mother felt the fire of anger. She went to Brigitte. She slammed the door on their love. "You stay away from him until he is 18 years old," she said. Brigitte looked at the angry mother. She gave a very hard answer. "I cannot promise you anything," she said. Just like that. The parents had to stop this. They forced Macron to leave the town. They sent him to a top school in Paris. Before he got on the train to Paris, the 17-year-old boy looked at Brigitte. He made a vow. He said, "Whatever you do, however you hide, I will come back and I will marry you." While Macron was far away in the big city of Paris, the world back home was quiet. But the scandal did not die. People still talked. If this happened in America, it would be a crime. People would say the teacher used her power to hurt a child. She would go to jail. But this was France in the 1990s. The school did not fire Brigitte. Why? Because both families were rich and powerful. The school did not want a scandal, so they kept it quiet. Also, Many people in France at that time believed in free love. When the news out, Macron faced a big problem. If he said he was pursued, people would think he was a weak, stupid boy, and they would say his wife was a bad person who hurt children. So, he told his own side of the story. Years later, when people asked Macron about this, he said, "I was the boss. I chased her." He wanted everyone to know that they were two equal minds, two soulmates. But there was a real cost. Her husband, the banker, found out their secret in 1994. The pain was too much. He packed his bags and left town forever. He never spoke to the news. He lived in silence. He even missed his own mother's funeral. He was so angry that he cut all ties with his past life. But for the sake of the children, he chose not to get a divorce. Macron went to Paris, but he did not forget his promise. Time was passing quickly. He studied hard. He started his career. He waited for his time. All that time, he and Brigitte stayed in touch. For 12 years, Brigitte stayed in the small town. She did not run to Paris right away. She stayed to take care of her 3 children. It was very hard for the kids. Her second daughter was 17, the same age as Macron. Her youngest daughter was only 10. Imagine your classmate becoming your mother's lover. It was a heavy weight. But Macron never left. He waited. He grew up. He went to the best schools in France. This includes a top university for leaders called ENA. This is the most important school in France. Almost every president and powerful politician in the country graduated from there. This is where Macron met all the people who run the country. But he did not just study economics. He studied philosophy. Macron was very smart. He also worked as an assistant for a famous philosopher. This taught him to look for a deep meaning in everything he does. He learned how power works. He learned how history moves from old history books. After he finished his studies, it was time to leave the books behind. He wanted to see how the real world worked. Macron entered the French Ministry of Economy and Finance to work as a financial official. In 2007, his life changed when he met a very powerful man in Paris named Jacques Attali. This powerful man was the most important economist in France and an advisor to the government. He wrote 80 books and knew everyone. He liked Macron. He later said, "I found him. I made him." This powerful man helped Macron get a job at a very famous investment bank. Macron paid 50,000 euros to leave his government job to join the bank. Here is a fun fact. Macron was not an expert in finance. But he knew something better. He knew government secrets from ENA, the University for Leaders, and he was skilled at reading people. His job was to help big companies buy other big companies. It is a game for billions of dollars. And the stress was getting much higher, but so was the salary. In 4 years, he made about 3 million euros. He became rich. Macron was very polite, but his words were sharp. He drank coffee with old rich men. He played golf with them. He listened to them. When a businessman sells his company, he is depressed. He is losing his life's work. Macron used philosophy to see into their hearts. He told them, "Keep your family name in the company name. You are not losing a company. You are leaving a great legacy." Macron listened to what they did not say. He helped them feel safe. He made selling a company feel like a heroic act. One big boss said, "When you talk to him, you feel he is the only person in the world who understands you." In 2012, he played his biggest game. A big medicine company named Pfizer wanted to sell its baby milk business. Macron helped another company, Nestlé, try to buy it. He stayed awake all night reading hundreds of pages of rules. He used his mind to read the hearts of both sides. First, he made the boss of Nestlé brave. He told him this was a chance to make history. Second, he gave the other side total safety. Macron won. Just like that. Nestlé bought the milk company for $11.85 billion. In 2006, Macron was 29 years old. He was making a lot of money. He had to choose between a normal, rich life and a forbidden love. He chose love, even though people did not understand him. Finally, Brigitte got a divorce. Brigitte made the same choice. She lost her quiet life to be with him. In 2007, they got married in a rich beach town. Big people from banks and government came. Macron was 29. Brigitte was 54. He did not hide. He used the wedding to show his power. He gave a speech. He said, "We are not a normal couple. I hate the word normal, but we are a real couple." He looked at Brigitte's 3 children. He said, "If this was hard for anyone, it was hard for you. Thank you for accepting us." That day, he whispered to Brigitte. He said, "We are going to shut people up." Today, the kids are fine. The girl from his class is now a top heart doctor. In 2024, she talked to the news. She said, "I am proud of my family. I do not fear what people say. We are a normal family now." And what about children of his own? Macron made a choice. He said, "I do not need biological children. Family is about love, not DNA." Before he was 40, he became a daddy to 7 grandchildren. Years later, in 2014, when he became a powerful minister, his team put their photo on the cover of the biggest magazine. The timing was perfect. By the time the country learned about the teacher and the boy, they were already a powerful married couple. He told the secret first, so no one could use it to hurt him. If the world already knows your secret, no one can use it to hurt you. When bad people put fake news on the internet saying his wife used to be a man, he did not hide her. He gave speeches defending her. People say his wife has too much power. He does not care. He keeps his soft spot right in the open. This love story made him strong. It proved to everyone, this man has an iron will. He is not afraid of what people think. Macron had won his first big gamble. He had his love. By 2016, Macron was a rich man. He had seen how the world was run by money. But wait. He felt that money was not enough to fix France. He wanted something more. He wanted to be the one holding the pen that wrote the laws. He wanted to change France. To get there, he first entered the center of power. In 2012, he became a top advisor and helper to the French president, François Hollande. Later, he was even made the minister of the economy. He was right at the heart of the government, seeing everything from the inside. He saw that the people were tired. They were tired of the two traditional big parties that had ruled for many years. When he learned this, he had to choose between being a loyal worker or burning his bridges to become president. So, he did something crazy. He quit his job and left the president who had helped him. He started his own party. He called it Forward. He always likes to say, both things can be true at the same time. He tells one side, I am with you. Then he tells the other side, I am with you too. Many people hated him for this. The old president had helped him. By quitting, Macron looked like a son killing his father. His old boss, the president, felt betrayed. People called Macron a backstabber. He burned the bridges. In the 2017 presidential election, he was lucky. The candidate from one of the big traditional parties had a big money scandal. So, in the final vote, Macron faced the leader of an extreme right-wing party. Many people did not like Macron, but they were very scared of the extreme right-wing party. They feared this party would close the borders, spread hate, and break Europe apart. So many people held their noses and voted for Macron. He won with 66% of the vote. After he won the election and became president in 2017, he followed through on his campaign promise and took away the tax on rich people. He wanted more money to stay in France. Because of this, many people gave him a name, the President of the Rich. After he won, he wanted to bring big changes to France. Macron went straight for the hardest fight in France. His plan was to change the labor rules. These old rules had a very bad impact on French companies. French companies were struggling with very high costs for employee benefits. Also, if they wanted to fire someone, they had to pay a huge amount of money in compensation. This made operating costs too high, so companies were afraid to hire new people and even more afraid to fire anyone. This was having a terrible effect on the French economy. He planned to make it easier and cheaper for companies to fire workers and limit the money workers could win in court. He wanted to make French companies more competitive. But this was very risky. He knew the workers would be angry, but he was ready. In France, workers have immense power. If they do not like a new rule, they stop working. They stop the trains. They turn off the power. They leave trash in the streets. Old presidents always gave up when the workers got angry. But Macron did not run. He stepped into the fire to fix the labor system. First, he used speed. He used a presidential privilege, a special power to sign new rules into law immediately. He didn't wait for Parliament to talk for months. He acted so fast that the big unions did not have time to organize their protests to stop him. When unions started to organize workers to protest in the streets, Macron went on TV and the streets to say, "You voted for me. This is my right to make the change," to convince people. He used the power given to him by the people who elected him president. Under the new labor rules, he told the bosses, "Now you know exactly how much you must pay. You are safe." Finally, he gave power back to companies. He let them make their own deals. He broke the old rules that held the country back. As the years went by, people started to see the results of his work. Over 10 years, he changed France in 5 big ways. It was a hard fight, but he won. Number 1. Unemployment went down from nearly 10% to about 7%. Millions of young people found jobs. Number 2. He became a super salesman. He started Choose France. He personally convinced Elon Musk and Tim Cook to bring their massive investments to France. Soon, France became the number 1 place in Europe for foreign money. Number 3. In 2023, he saw the country was running out of money to pay retired people. He wanted to change the retirement age from 62 to 64. Millions of people went to the streets. They burned things. They threw trash. But Macron did not care. He had to choose: let the country go broke or raise the retirement age and let people call him a dictator. He chose the dictator name to save the money. He used a very special rule to force the law to pass without a vote. Across the country, millions of French people called him a king, a dictator. But he saved the pension system from bankruptcy. In 2021, a man even slapped him in the face in public. Macron did not give up. He kept talking to the crowd. He showed them he was not afraid. Number 4. When COVID-19 hit the world, he worked with the leader of Germany. They made a plan to borrow 7,500 billion euros together. This made Europe act like one big family for the first time. Number 5. He changed energy. People wanted less nuclear power. But when war started in Europe, Macron said no. He decided to build new nuclear plants. Because of this, France has cheap, clean power and does not need to beg Russia for gas. He was a king. He was a winner. He was in control. But sometimes he had to make ugly choices. In 2018, poor people put on yellow vests. They were angry because gas was too expensive and they could not afford their daily lives. They demanded lower taxes and a government that cared about them. They burned cars right on the most beautiful street in Paris. The air was hot and full of black smoke. Macron had to choose: use the police to look strong, or give them money and look weak. He chose to look weak to save the country. People said he was no longer a proud king. By the time 2026 arrived, the game was even more messy. Macron is like a firefighter trying to stop 10 fires at once. At home, his house is burning. Thieves stole millions of dollars of royal jewels from the biggest museum in the world. Workers are angry and keep walking away from their jobs. But Macron's challenges were not just inside France. Besides his domestic problems, he also had to step out and face the rest of the world. He flew to India to sell 114 fighter jets while his own museum was in trouble. He wanted the world to know one thing: he was never tired. He is fighting everywhere. He is pushing a new budget to put billions into the army. He is making his country ready for a very dangerous world. In late February 2026, the Russian spy group told a big lie. They said France was secretly building a dirty nuclear bomb for the war. France was very angry. They said, "This is fake news." After that, Macron went to a secret submarine base to check France's nuclear weapons. He wanted the world to see that he was ready to fight back. After Trump became the U.S. president, the relationship between France and America became very important. The U.S. president, Donald Trump, is very different from Macron. They do not agree on anything. Trump was a hot fire. Macron was cold ice. Trump wants America first. He hates paying for the defense of Europe. In 2021, America made a secret deal with Australia. After that, Australia canceled a huge order for French submarines. France lost tens of billions of dollars. Macron was very angry. He felt his own allies had put a knife in his back. This is why he says Europe must not be a servant of America. Macron wants Europe to be strong by itself. He even checked his nuclear weapons again. He wants Trump to know France is ready to act alone. Right now, in 2026, their biggest fight is about Ukraine. Trump wants to make a fast peace deal. Trump wants to force Ukraine to give up some of its land. Macron says no. Macron wants to protect the rules of the world. In early 2026, Macron put together a team of brave countries ready to send money and real safety to Ukraine. Macron is increasing France's army money to show he is not playing games. He was still fighting. If you look at Macron's life, it is like a thriller movie. It is a story of a man who is always in a dangerous position. When the great church in Paris burned in 2019, he promised to fix it in 5 years. Experts said it was impossible, but he said, "Watch me." The church was a symbol of his will. He is a man who never runs away from the fire. He is a boy. He is a banker. He is a king. He is the boy who promised to marry his teacher. He is the banker who read minds. He is the politician who burned the old rules. He is Emmanuel Macron, and his story is not over yet.
太棒了，你把故事听完了，你离英语自由又近了一步。欢迎加入频道会员，支持频道发展。会员可获得影片的中英文对照学习资料、跟读练习视频、影片、MP3 文件等福利。这里是像学母语一样学英语频道，我们下个视频见。